I've had to introduce fish and omegas into my life because my brain wasn't functioning properly.
Miley. I mean, I think she really has lost her mind if she truly believes that she needed to eat fish to get it back. What's up, guys? It's Jordan Gatelius, and this is the Super Vegan. And honestly, I just want to say right off the bat, this is not normally the type of video I would make responding to an ex-vegan or any kind of video like that, but Miley Cyrus is probably one of the more well-known vegans out there. She has a huge following. She's a very popular person, so when she says things, a lot of people are going to hear it. And unfortunately, she did say a lot of misleading information about vegan diets during her appearance on the Joe Rogan Podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. And hey, there's a lot of impressionable people out there, a lot of people who may be considering going vegan, maybe a little skeptical about it even. Let's say they follow Miley, they hear this, and it completely scares them away from ever trying it or making the transition to go vegan. The only reason I'm making this video is to help reach those people and reassure them that there's absolutely nothing unhealthy about a vegan diet. You can get all the nutrients and everything you need from it when you do it properly, just like any other diet. You want to see the best results out of any diet, you've got to make sure you do it properly. The only time you're not going to see the good results is if you're not doing it right. And from the sounds of it, Miley wasn't doing this thing right at all.
Can I ask you, were you doing a vegan diet like meticulous?
The strictest you've ever known.
But you doing intelligently? Like
I
were you
did all my
supplementing the right way?
All right, so to start off with, I'm not the biggest fan of supplements. Even before I went vegan, I'd always advise people to just stick to supplements as a last resort sort of situation, because if you're eating a proper, well-balanced diet, it's likely you're not even going to need any of those supplements. And a lot of dieting problems actually come up from people over-relying on supplements instead of focusing on eating real, actual food. And a vegan diet is no exception to this. People think you need all sorts of supplementation to be healthy and thrive on this thing, but you don't really need any supplements on a vegan diet if you're eating enough of the right foods. And on a vegan diet, the biggest concern is typically getting enough B12, but you could easily get enough by eating enough B12 fortified foods like nutritional yeast. There's B12 fortified plant-based milks and cereals. There's even plant-based mock meat alternatives out there fortified with B12. Some soy products are as well. Her main concern though seem to be omegas. We'll get to that in a second here.
I do all my protein drinks.
Again, this plays into the whole supplement thing. Protein supplements, do you need those as a vegan? No, you don't. You don't even need them as a non-vegan. Not even if you're trying to do things like get fit, build muscle, and get shredded. Not if you're eating enough of the right foods, which is not at all hard to do on a proper, well-balanced diet. There are a ton of plant-based, high-protein sources out there. I actually just did 3 separate videos on a bunch of them, and I'll throw a link to a playlist of that up on the screen and down in the description. But there's a ton of things like tofu, tempeh, seitan. A lot of plant-based milks pack a good amount of protein. Those meat alternatives I just mentioned tend to be high in protein. There's actually a bunch of veggies out there like spinach and watercress that have good amounts of protein too. There are a lot of options out there. I mean, like I just said, I did 3 separate videos on all the best ones. It's not hard to get protein in as a vegan at all.
I've watched every bodybuilder's YouTube.
Oh man. As a fitness YouTuber myself, I'm just going to say not all the information you find on here is going to be the best or the most credible, so I'm really hoping this isn't the only place she was getting her info from, but it doesn't sound like that's the case.
And I've had to introduce fish and omegas into my life because my brain wasn't functioning properly. And
Don't tell that to the vegans. They'll come for you.
They're going to come for me, but that's okay. I'm used to people coming for me, and it's going to be that I calm out.
Salary.
No, listen, if I give homes, I have 22 animals on my farm in Nashville. I've got 22 in my house in Calabasas. Like, I'm doing what I need to do for the animals.
All right, so this is one of the biggest things she said about the whole thing, because it makes it seem like you could only get omegas from fish. And if she does believe that, maybe she was only getting her info from YouTube bodybuilders. Maybe a lot of people are, because Miley isn't the only one who seems to believe this. A lot of people think you need to eat fish to get omegas. I used to be one of those people. But then I learned that you don't. In fact, I'm just going to smash all these stupid beliefs about needing to eat animals to get certain nutrients, because I used to believe all of this crap, and the bottom line is that it is crap. You don't need to eat animals to get any of these things. You don't need meat, you need protein. You don't need milk, you need calcium. You don't need fish, you need omegas. You don't need to eat any animals to get any of these nutrients. None of them. There's protein in plant-based vegan food. There's calcium in it, omegas. There's all the nutrients you need in them. The only possible reason that you wouldn't get enough of any nutrient on a vegan diet isn't because they're not available. It's because you're not eating them. You're doing it wrong. And look, I'm not going to get into anything else Miley does, like does she do drugs or anything like that that could possibly be affecting her health outside the diet? I don't know. I'm just strictly looking at how she described her dieting practices, and they seemed pretty off to me, just like all other ex-vegans who experience health problems because of being vegan. Once you break it down and look at how these people's diets are structured or were structured, it's clear to see that there was no structure and that the health problems they claim to experience were a result of a poor diet, not of a vegan diet. And this doesn't just go for veganism, guys. This goes for any diet. If you don't follow it properly, you don't eat in a well-balanced structure, you're gonna experience problems, vegan or not. And being vegan doesn't automatically equate to being healthy like so many people think it does. At the end of the day, being vegan by its very definition is all about protecting and advocating for the animals in all this. If you're going vegan, you're doing it for the animals. If it's not for the animals, then you're going plant-based. But either way, vegan doesn't mean eating healthy. Being plant-based doesn't mean being healthy. There's a lot of vegan and plant-based junk food out there, and most people, vegan or not, don't have the healthiest eating habits. Yet, vegan diets are almost always the only diets you hear people pouncing on about things like this. Like, oh, see, Miley was experiencing health issues on this vegan diet. Yeah, my brother tried it too for a couple days and he got sick on it and almost died. This vegan stuff ain't healthy, man, I'm telling you. You never hear anyone say that about your regular run-of-the-mill diet that massive amounts of people fail. People fail all kinds of diets all the time. One of the best examples of this is a weight loss diet, a very simple diet. The only way you're going to lose weight on a diet is if you consistently eat in a calorie deficit. All you need to do is eat less calories than your body needs to maintain its current weight, and you will lose weight. It's all about calories in versus calories out. This is literally the basis of all weight loss, all weight gain, and all weight management. People will go on this diet, not track their calories, not account for what they're eating, and as a result, fail the weight loss diet. Now, did they fail because the diet was unhealthy or too restricting? No, they failed because they weren't doing what they were supposed to. It's simple. If you're trying to lose weight, you have to know how much you're putting into your body and make sure you're not putting in too much. That's not happening if you're not tracking those things. Likewise, if you're trying to be healthy, you have to balance what you're putting into your body and make sure you're feeding it enough of all the right nutrients it needs. Balance what you want to eat with what you need to eat. This is extremely easy to do, and none of that changes on a vegan diet. It's literally exactly the same. It's not any harder, it's not any less attainable or maintainable. The only difference is that you're not eating animals anymore, and I suspect that's why veganism gets such a bad rap. A lot of people are addicted to their food, specifically the animal parts of their food in their diet. Hell, I was. I used to make fun of vegans all the time, but in my own heart, I have always loved animals. And in the back of my mind, it just always felt hypocritical to be eating them. So I made the change, and I've honestly never felt better, physically and mentally. And I know there's a lot of you out there who are looking to do the same. And when people come out and make comments like Miley did, I know it doesn't help. So maybe listen to her music, not her info about dieting or veganism for that matter, because I don't know how anyone could claim to be vegan, love all these animals, and then go right back to eating them like it's no big deal when they don't need to do that. So take everything you hear like that with skepticism. Take what you hear from me with skepticism. Don't believe everything you hear. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. That's what I did when I went vegan. The saddest thing in all this is the lives of all the innocent animals being taken from them when they don't need to be. And I know Miley knows this because she's talked about it.
But the reason that I kind of started this was because I had a fish that was highly intelligent. When I would come through the door, and I'm also highly stoned, but I would come through the door and this blowfish would go to the side and get excited, and I would, you know, like my pig, my animals are very food oriented, so the love comes from the food giving, and I would always go give him his shrimps and all that stuff, and he really knew who I was. He really got excited when I was home, and
like
one day,
cannibal fish.
And one day, yes, and one day I ran into, you know, I went to a sushi restaurant with a few of my friends, and they were serving blowfish, and I thought, you know, this is an intelligent animal.
Miley, I know you love the animals. Know that you can get all the nutrients you need without having to eat those animals. There's plenty of plant-based sources out there to get omegas like seaweed, edamame, walnuts, Brussels sprouts, kidney beans, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds. There's a ton of options out there. You could let the fish live. Come on, guys, let's help get her back on track. And let's stop trying to use experiences like these to denounce veganism or try to make it seem like any sort of credible evidence against it. And likewise, vegans, come on, let's not completely vilify people for making mistakes. And how about we try to school them and educate them on the errors of their ways instead? I think both of those would be a whole lot more productive, right? But the sad thing is that some people, really a lot of people, are just too close-minded to hear out differing viewpoints, so they just try to shut them up and shut them down instead of genuinely trying to see where other people are coming from. Personally, I've never been like that. I mean, I used to be a mega meat eater, guys. I wasn't born vegan. I only went vegan 2 years ago, and it wasn't without listening to the other side and doing my own due diligence, doing my own research, finding out whether or not I could maintain my health and fitness being vegan, whether or not this was going to pose serious health risks. And once I looked at all the evidence and heard all the explanations, it made the choice to finally do it very easy because it meant my beliefs and feelings about animals could finally be aligned and congruent with my lifestyle. I just regret not doing it sooner. So whether or not you agree with vegans or plant-based diets, instead of getting all defensive and trying to use anecdotal experiences like Miley's here as an example against it, actually look at the real research and evidence regarding it. How about that? You shouldn't care about anecdotal evidence, you should care about real evidence. And the real evidence clearly shows there's nothing unhealthy about a vegan diet
where we cover gym and home workouts and everything in between for people with gyms and without anything.
All of you non-vegans
so
out
make
there,
sure to subscribe over there to get started on getting into better shape with whatever you have without any
problems. All vegans
problems.
are asking for is for you to consider the animals, consider the lives of the animals, because I highly doubt you'd enjoy having your life cut short and you getting killed just to be someone else's meal when you didn't have to be. Until next time.
If you enjoyed this super vegan video, make sure you Hulk smash that like button. Share the video to spread the vegan vibes and help keep the super vegan squad going and growing. Leave some comments below about some of your favorite vegan eats. And again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Until next time, Super Squad, go vegan and go well. Peace.